Hello everyone, it's week 5 of our course. This is Professor Gray with you and welcome back. It's good to see you all again. Well, it will be good to at least hear from you this week. Last week, everybody got back to me well. There seems to be no problem with the timing. Thursday, 5 o'clock p.m., always be sure. A few of you seem to be doing well. No questions, no problems. That's fine. Keep up the good work. Keep practicing. That's how you improve. Every time you practice, you're learning about maybe some new language, some new academic skills. You're learning about TOEFL. You're experiencing the questions and the passages. That's the key. Some of you are worried that your timing is a little slow. Don't worry too much. I give you those times as goals. I want you to try to reach them. The time is your goal. If you need more time, of course, you still must finish the exercise, but be aware of the time. It's such an important part of TOEFL that you must start by training yourself to be aware of timing and pushing yourself to finish within the time limit. But it takes time. Some of you are beginners at TOEFL. Some of you have less experience with English, especially academic English. So for now, just do your best. You'll find that you'll get faster, you'll understand it better with more practice as we go on through the semester. You're doing fine so far, everyone. Listening also, just pay attention. When we do the listening, do the work, then listen again. I recommend you listen again while I review it. You can, hit pause, have the listening file ready and just sort of pause it and listen and review it. And I also strongly recommend you listen again all the way through at the end, right? We'll talk more about listening when we get to it today. So reading page 21. The homework starts on page 21. We're looking at reference, words that refer. So to refer to something is sort of referring back. He is kind. Who is he? Refer back. My father is a good person. He is kind. He refers back. Referent refers back to my father. New World epidemics. New World refers to the Western Hemisphere. Of course, it's not really new. It's the same age as the rest of the world, but we call it, in Western culture, we call it the New World. Europe, Asia, Africa is the Old World. North and South America are the New World, and we are well aware of epidemic. Epidemic is in one area, one region. Pandemic is across many countries or across the world, such as the pandemic we are experiencing now. If we look at number 10, they go back. Who are they? Look at the beginning of the sentence. The inhabitants of the Americas. So number 10, they refer to the inhabitants, the people living in. Okay, inhabitant, in. Habit means to live. If you've studied French, maybe you know that the French word for live is habiter. The English word, many English words have habit meaning living in. Habitat, inhabit, inhabitant, habitation, all these words. So the people living in the Americas, the Native Americans, they were isolated, they were alone because there was a watery barrier. Oceans, barrier is like a wall. Well, the oceans are a kind of wall, stopping other people from coming to the Americas. And they didn't have exposure to these diseases. These diseases that had developed, C, the 11 is C, the virulent, very strong, lively, strong diseases. These diseases developed in Asia, Europe, and Africa. So the Native Indians, the Native Americans, didn't have exposure, so they didn't have antibodies. So when these diseases hit them, it was an epidemic, actually probably almost like a pandemic, what we'd call a pandemic now. Pre-Columbian Americans, number 12 is A. Them, who are them? Them refers to the Americans, the pre-Columbian or Native Americans. Pre means before, Columbian means Columbus. So Americans who lived in the Western Hemisphere before Columbus came, before the Europeans came. Okay, pre-Columbian Americans, Native or Indian American Indians. Number 12A. And the last one is B. Virgin soil epidemics contributed to an unbelievable decline in the population. Unbelievable, incredible decline, decrease, drop. One that has been estimated at as much as 80% decrease. Notice the synonyms here. Decrease, decline. This is how you connect the thoughts or the ideas, the points in the sentence. Decrease, decline, unbelievable decline, 80% decrease. 80% is very high, incredible, unbelievable. That's a lot. See how they connect? Therefore, number 13 is B, one that has been estimated at. The unbelievable decline has been estimated to be 80% decrease, an 80% decrease. Again, sometimes you can look at long sentences in a mathematical way. Get, X and X come together, Y and Y come together, and then you can connect the key words, such as one referring to the decrease, which refers back to the decline. Okay, very tragic what happened in North and South America to the natives. Next, passage 4, Horatio Alger Jr. If you look at your notes, he was really the first famous author for children's books in the U.S. Today, we know of him. I don't think many people read his stories anymore. They're simple stories for children. They were really for boys, because back then mostly boys went to school. But they were sort of a simple kind of fable or moral story for children to read, where children learn to be good, learn that if you work hard, if you are a good person, you're polite and respectful to your family, your teachers, just be a good person, you will get rewards, you will gain, your life will be better. And it's, good. I think every culture has stories like this for children, to encourage children to work hard and be good future citizens. You'll see the term I put in the notes, rags to riches. He is famous for this kind of story. This is basically what we call a Cinderella story, like Rocky, the movie Rocky, or any kind of Cinderella story, where rags meaning old raggedy clothes. Rag really means hengju, but for cleaning. But we also use rags, slang word to refer to like old clothes with holes in it, and riches, rich. So you go from being poor to being rich. Again, like a Cinderella story. His books were often about poor boys who worked hard and became either rich or at least had a happy, successful life and a nice family. This kind of story. Number 14 is B, that focused on the theme. What focused on this theme of success? The books. His books, over 100 books that focused on this theme. The books focused on the theme. Number 15 is D, success. Success coming to those who work hard to achieve it. Achieve what? Work hard to achieve success. Number 15 is D. He came from a prominent family, a very important. Prominent means sort of high, high society, high class, a famous, rich family, and he wanted to be a minister. A minister is like a priest. The church leader, the person who gives the sermon. In Catholic churches, it's a priest. Other churches, it's minister or pastor, and so on. There are many different names for that person. Divinity school. Divinity school means school where you study religion to be a minister. In many of his books, he wrote about the poor and homeless children of the slums. Taldongye. Slums of New York City, seeing them, the children, as unfortunate pawns of society who, again the children, if only given the opportunity, could improve their lot. Improve your lot means to improve your your life, your wealth, I guess, but more just your position, your status in life, from being poor to even middle class, improving your lot. Okay, so the slums, the poor, very poor, dirty, dangerous areas of a city, improve their lot. Why? Well, the young children, the young children, 16b, were unfortunate pawns. The pawns, again, who refers to the pawns, refers to the children. So number 17 is C, but 16 and 17 are the same. They both refer to the children. 16b, 17c. A pawn is a chess piece. If you play chess, when you start at the back, you have the important pieces, the strong pieces, the king and the queen and the knight and the rook, and so on. The bishop. These are the powerful people. And in the front, you have the pawns, the basic soldiers. They are very simple. If you lose one, it's not so important. So a pawn then has come to mean somebody who is poor, who has less control of their own life, who gives life to serve others or to help others. It kind of like in the military, kind of basic, simple soldier kind of pawn. It's a bit of a negative term, but it's not you don't call somebody a pawn. That's not very nice. But to refer in general to poor or people who are less fortunate, it gives an image of how their lives are. So even though the word has a negative feeling to it, here it's not being used as in a negative way. In fact, it's being used to inform you of their situation, so hopefully you can have sympathy or help them. So it's kind of a negative word turned into more of a positive meaning here, a sort of awareness of these children and how their lives are somewhat unfair. Anyway, that's a pawn. Don't confuse it with a prawn with an R. Prawn is a big, like a wang seu, big shrimp. The last one, it was well received by his target audience. Okay, though his writing style was characterized by simplicity and repetition, it was well received. It was liked. Well received means the audience liked it. What? The writing style. A. The movie was well received. The audience enjoyed the movie. The critics liked the movie, and so on and so on. Okay, that one was a bit tougher. Generally, in our practice units, for listening and reading, the exercises get longer and more difficult. Okay, the first two are shorter, and the last two get longer. Listening as well, shorter to longer, slightly less difficult to slightly more difficult. It's really good. It's sort of like going up steps, step by step. And then we finish every 2 units with review, 1 or 2 review exercises. Okay, Choral Colonies reviews, Unit 1, Vocabulary and Context, and Unit 2, Recognizing Reference. All right, so I gave you 20 minutes. I asked you to tell me your time. Please don't forget, that's part of the homework. A couple of you forgot it. I mentioned it in my email to you. Only when I ask you. You don't have to tell me your time for the practice exercises, and you don't have to time yourself. You just do it. Do it for practice and focus less on timing, focus more on understanding the question type, developing a good strategy, creating a pattern so you can answer them quickly and, of course, accurately. The review exercises, when I ask you to send me the time, you must send it to get credit for the work. So you must time yourself. This is how you sort of self-check to see if you're improving and to see how you're developing in the class. So please remember to always send me your time when I ask. Okay, let's go over this one now. Notice at the beginning this coral colonies means a coral reef, sort of underwater jungle. When you watch an underwater video and you see all the coral and the fish and all this activity like a jungle, that's a coral reef. And it is the essential, just like a jungle is essential for life on Earth in so many ways. So is a coral reef. There's a problem with them now. They're disappearing because the ocean is warming, and we have to be really careful. That's potentially an enormous disaster. So in the future, this is something I think you'll see more and more focus. I hope more and more focus as we become more environmentally aware. If you've ever watched the movie Finding Nemo, that's a coral reef, right? What Nemo lives in, that's a sea anemone. Nemo is called a clownfish. And that thing that he's living in is actually a living organism, like a animal. It looks like a plant or a tree, but that's a sea anemone, and that's food and home for many fish in a reef, such as clownfish like Nemo. The first sentence has a nice synonym you must notice here. Complicated events, intricate reef structures, okay? Intricate and complicated are similar. It's, again, a good writer uses synonyms. A good reader, you recognizes them. By recognizing the synonyms, you understand the passage better, you understand the sentence, and you hopefully gain some vocabulary, right? Complicated, not simple, or intricate. Number one is the coral colonies. These events and circumstances involve physical and chemical processes as well as delicate interactions, very fragile, okay, in order for them to thrive, to live, to grow well. Thrive is to succeed or improve or live stronger, okay, very good word, to flourish, like a flower, thriving, flourishing. A group of animals, stony corals, that is, singular, is, the group is, a group is, two is sea, a group of animals is closely related to jellyfish and sea anemones. Sea anemone is, again, many types. One is like Nemo's home. The polyps, okay, the tiny little creatures, are for the most part, usually, only a fraction of an inch, tiny. Live in colonies made up of an immeasurable number of polyps. Okay, immeasurable, im is like in, meaning not. Im, in, same. Not measure, able. Not able to measure. If you can't measure something, it's too big, too much, too many. B, number 3 is B, a huge quantity. Please, for homework, I think you should go to the beach on the West Coast, any beach, and count how many pieces of sand there are on the beach. Impossible. Why? Because it's immeasurable. Too many to count. And let's go down to the bottom. Now we're talking about, the bottom of paragraph 2. We're talking about a fraction of an inch. So these are very, very tiny. Another word for tiny is minute. Number 4 is A. Now, this is tricky. You say, teacher, that's minute. Like obun, shipun, ishipun. No, it's not minute. Well, it's spelled the same as minute. But in the context, this is why it's vocabulary in context. The context here is not minute, it's minute. Like mini, like the car. Mini, miniature, minuscule, minute, tiny, A. Rings of tentacles, choksu. Clustered petals, cluster is a group of something. Petals, like on a flower, a group of petals. And okay, yeah, I think that's enough just of the vocabulary there. Paragraph 3, once these coral structures, are established, they reproduce very quickly. They build in upward and outward directions to create a fringe. Fringe means the outside edge of something, okay? You know, like on a shirt, you have sort of, this could be a type of a fringe, sort of the shirt and then this outside edge. A bag might have a fringe on it, so on and so forth. Remnants of once living coral. Now, remnants means what remains. What remains after something is gone, like bones or teeth, okay? Remnants, skeleton is exactly a remnant, but it can be man-made, remnants of an old culture, like an old bowl or jewelry, necklace, an old knife for hunting. Those are remnants of an ancient culture. Once living coral, once Momo means in the past, before, not now. Okay, once living means living before, but not now. In other words, dead, B. Number 5 is B. Moving on, number 6, hardy life forms. Hardy means strong. Okay, they are hardy. Now, how do we know this? Hardy means strong, tough, durable. Remember, durable? We learned endure, endurance, Duracell. Here it's rugged. Rugged means strong. Number 6 is D, rugged, tough, durable, hardy. Hard. Just think a hard person is a strong person. Easily able to withstand the external forces of nature. Withstand means to endure. So nature can be devastating. Tsunamis, earthquakes, typhoons, they kill things. They do damage and they kill things. So imagine like a typhoon, you have a tree. You have a very strong tree. It can withstand. The typhoon blows it, but it stands at the end. It is powerful, it is strong, it is rugged or hardy, okay? It withstands, it endures the typhoon. A weak tree, typhoon blows it over, tree is gone, all right? It cannot endure, it cannot withstand, it is not hardy. Moving on, they, again, number 7A, they, again, we're talking about the coral here, the coralline structures. The they refers all the way back to line 3. That coralline structures are commonplace in tropical waters is. Now, be careful here. In scientific and academic English, it's common to see a sentence starting with that. Okay, this doesn't mean that, like that book, that student, that desk. It means the fact that. So in English academic writing, when you see that at the beginning of a sentence, it's usually the fact that. The fact that coralline structures are commonplace, blah, 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 is due to. Is the verb. Everything before it, all that is the subject, and then is, to be, is the verb. Moving on, algae, A-L-G-A-E is pronounced algae. And algae is like seaweed, gim, okay? Skeletal shells are delicate in nature, easily damaged or fragmented. Fragment is when something breaks into many pieces. If you drop a glass on the floor, fragments go everywhere. They are also prey to other sea animals such as sponges and clams that bore into their skeletal structures and weaken them. Weaken the skeletal structures. Bore into means like to make a hole, like a drill. When you drill into the wall, you make a hole in the wall. You are boring into the wall. To bore into something is to make a hole. And so when you do that, now imagine you're drilling into the wall. What happens? Well, the hole, what was in the hole, the material has to go down to the ground, right? It falls to the ground, the powder. Right? So the borings are the powdery remains. When you bore into something, you make a hole and you have the remnants of the hole, the powdery remains. Number 8 is C and number 9 is D. Number 10, ongoing means continuing. Okay, an additional part of the process of reformation is the ongoing, going on, going, continue. Occurs throughout the process, continuing through the process. B. Breakdown is to decay or decompose. D. Number 11 is D. Now, when something dies, over time, everything living decomposes, decays, sort of goes away. Well, when an animal dies, what decays first? What breaks down first? The soft tissue, the skin, the muscle, tendons, ligaments. It goes away quickly. And what's left are the hard tissues, bones, teeth, like that. They remain a long time, but over time, they too will decay, decompose, break down. The last two here in paragraph 6, look at the last sentence. What they share in common, however, is the extraordinary variety of plant and animal life forms that are a necessary part of the ongoing process of their formation. The coral. A, the coralline structures. A, 12. Okay, that are. Always look at the grammar. That are. Can we say the variety are? We say the variety is. Singular. So that, number 12, cannot refer to variety. It must be plural. B, life forms are. Okay? Plant and animal life forms that are. The life forms are a necessary part, and so on. Number 12B, number 13A. Okay, that was a tough one. Yeah, some of you had trouble with that. Some of you did well. Again, it's the beginning. It's our first review exercise. Every 2 units, there are one. Now, from now, there will be 2 review exercises every 2 units. So again, you'll get faster, you'll understand the questions better, you'll understand what to look for in the reading. Everything gets better with practice. Just bear with me, bear with us, and keep working hard. Good work, everyone. Any questions about coral colonies, please ask in your email to me. I love when you ask questions. No pressure, you don't have to, but if there's something you don't understand, you should ask it, because that I can help you then, right? And learning from mistakes is good learning. Skill 3, simplify meanings of sentences. Now, you'll get a big, long sentence that's all shaded. You can see the example on page 26, okay? It's a long, complicated sentence, but it'll have parts. Your job is to separate the parts and then look for an answer that restates those key parts. How do we know a part? Well, it's separated by words like and, but, or connecting words. Before, after. Also, punctuation. Commas separate. Semicolons separate. Dash separates, and so on. So it's all one sentence, but it'll be 2 or 3 key points. You find those 2, 3, however many key points, the right answer restates them. Look for an answer that restates the key points. Synonyms. If the answer has too many of the exact same words, Joshim, be careful. It's often a trick. It's a trap. Right? Be careful about that. Don't look for the same words. Look for synonyms. Look for restatements. The wrong answer will go against what the main text says, or the wrong answer will omit, will not include a key point from the main sentence. The great red spot. Now, take a couple of minutes here, or however much time you need. Read example 1, example 2. Go ahead and do it on your own. Okay, I think 5 minutes is enough, but just do it in as much time as you need, and then I will review it with you. Go ahead. Okay, the great red spot. Were Earth to be juxtaposed, ooh, that's a new word, with the great red spot, our planet would be dwarfed in comparison. Dwarf. Oh, 백설공주 일곱 난쟁이. Dwarf. They were small people. Dwarf means a small person or something small. And to be dwarfed is to look very small next to something. Imagine a basketball player that's 2 meters, more than 2 meters tall, 2.2 meters. Wow, I would be dwarfed. I would look tiny next to somebody 2.2 meters. Okay, so our planet, Earth, would be dwarfed, look small in comparison. Right. So to compare is to put Earth next to Jupiter. Earth looks tiny. So if we compare something, we are juxtaposing it. This is how we learn vocabulary. This is the best way. The answer is in the sentence. So when you see juxtapose, you go, oh, that's a new word. Yes, it is. It's a tough word. It's it's an academic sounding word. We don't use it. I wouldn't say this to my friend. Hey, let's juxtapose these two types of juice. No, they'd give me a strange look. But scientists and academic writers use this word. So juxtapose, compare, putting it next to each other. A diameter, remember diameter, the distance through the circle, less than half that of the Great Red Spot. The answer is C. By placing the Earth next to the Great Red Spot, placing it next to, when you put two things next to each other, you are comparing, contrasting, juxtaposing. You can see that Earth has a much smaller diameter. Okay, less than half, much smaller. Number 1, C. Number 2, the outer winds require 6 Earth days to complete the circumference, the distance around. Circumference, around a circle, or just around an area, the circumference of the room, like you're going in a circle, even if it's not a circle. A length of time indicative, showing. Indicate is to show or to prove. The vastness, large. Vast means large or very big. So circumference, indicate, vast. Okay, the distance around shows huge. Number 2 is D. The fact that the winds take so long to move around, circumference, the Great Red Spot proves, indicative, indicates how big, large, vast it is. Point, 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 synonym, 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 right answer. That's how you solve these. As always, you must read page 26 and 27. That's part of your homework. Read it, look at the passage, the example passages again, and absolutely look at the box, the shaded box at the bottom of page 27. This is really important that you do this each time. Okay, look at the highlighted sentence, break the sentence down into the meaningful parts, and look for synonyms and restatements of those key parts. Let's practice. Camouflage, wichang hara. Okay, we look now. Camouflage, when you think of camouflage, page 28, maybe you think of the military, right? Wearing, we call it camos, the clothes that give you camouflage, or on your face, you paint your face. Why do you do it? So you can hide in nature. Human beings are smart. No, they didn't invent that. We learned it from nature. Camouflage is something that nature taught us. Let's read about it. Go ahead. Try to finish in about 5 minutes if you can. Page 28. Okay. Camouflage is one of the most effective ways for animals to avoid attack in the treeless Arctic. Arctic, of course, is up at the top of the Earth. The Arctic is the area around the North Pole, the top of planet Earth. What do we know about it? Well, it's cold, and there's no trees. Treeless Arctic, okay? Treeless means no trees. Remember that. However, the summer and winter landscapes, okay, the scenery, what it looks like, are so diverse, so different, so completely opposite that a single protective coloring, okay, protective, your skin or your hair, the coat the animal wears, would of course prove ineffective, be not effective, not useful in one season or the other. Okay, what is this saying? It's saying that the summer and winter landscape, the scenery looks very, very different. Now, the long winter up there, everything's white, white. And in the summer, it's short, but it's very green. Lots of life comes. It's green and brown and all these different colors of life. So, number 1, what are the key points? Well, the landscapes are diverse, opposite. And if you have a white coat in the summer, no good. If you have a gray, brown, green coat in the winter, no good. A. Opposite conditions, diverse, in summer and winter make necessary different protective coloration for Arctic animals. White in the winter, green or brown or gray in the summer. to blend in, to have camouflage. Thus, many of the inhabitants, remember inhabitants? Here it refers to the animals. The inhabitants, animals living in the Arctic tundra, change their camouflage twice a year. What's tundra? Well, it's in the Arctic. What else do we know about the Arctic? Treeless Arctic. Okay, so the tundra is treeless. The Arctic fox is a clear-cut example. Clear-cut means perfect, like a diamond, a perfect cut. A clear cut of the diamond can make it more valuable. Perfect example of this phenomenon. It's sports. Now, sport here doesn't mean like baseball. No, it means to wear. Sport as a verb means wearing. Sporting a hat, sporting a big winter jacket, sporting a blue shirt. Brownish gray coat in the summer, which then turns white as the cold weather sets in, and the process reverses itself in the springtime. So the Arctic fox is a perfect example of how animals change their colors from one season to the next, winter to summer. So number 2 is D, not B. Did you answer B? B is true, but B is not the main point here. B does not restate this sentence. D does. The Arctic fox demonstrates, clear-cut example. Protective coloring can change. The point here is not what the scenery looks like. The point here is that the fox is an example of changing colors from winter to summer. Number 2 is D. Its brownish gray coat blends in, mixes in with the barren tundra landscape. So, tundra is barren, empty. The Arctic is barren. The Arctic has tundra, empty Arctic, treeless Arctic. Barren, treeless, empty, nothing. So you see how all these adjectives can help you understand what things are. Tundra is an empty, just an empty land, nothing. Right? Nothing can grow big there because there's permanently frost in the ground, permafrost in the ground. So it's permanently frozen. So nothing can grow deep roots. Without deep roots, you can't grow really, really high. So the tundra is empty, ice, snow in the winter, and maybe short grass or some small wild bushes, that kind of thing in the summer. Tundra is actually a Russian word. Makes sense. That's where most of the world's tundra is. And we use it in English to refer to these sort of empty, barren, frozen expanses of nothing, like in Siberia and Alaska and parts of Canada. Arctic is an interesting word. Arctic and Antarctic, right? Arctic is the North Pole around the top of the Earth, and Antarctic is around the South Pole, the bottom of the Earth. Now, our Antarctica, with an A, means the land, the continent. Okay? Antarctic, O-A, is the area, like Arctic. Antarctica is the land. There's no Arctica. There's no continent up there. It's ice and ocean. And what does it mean? Well, ant, A-N-T, gemi? No. Ant means like anti, no, opposite. Arctic, not Arctic. Arctic, not Arctic. Arctic means bear. Can you believe it? Arctic means bear. It's an old Greek word for bear. Because in the North Pole, there's bears, gom, right? Pukukkom, polar bear. There's no Namkukkom, there's no South Pole bear, no bear, Antarctica. Interesting. Also, in the northern sky, you can see what we call a constellation, a group of stars like a bear, Ursa, U-R-S-A. And in the south, you cannot see this bear in the sky. You can only see the bear from the north. But anyway, bear, no bear. Let's try another one. Post-it notes. Okay, passage 2. Now, post-it notes, there are 4 questions here, 3, 4, and then next page, page 30, 5, and 6. Okay, try to finish it in, 5 to 8 minutes. Again, don't rush, but don't go too slowly. Do your best, go at a comfortable speed, but focus on the questions and learning the technique, practicing the technique to answer the questions. Focus on those shaded sentences, look for the key points, and find the answer that repeats those key points. Okay, go ahead, Post-it notes. Researchers at 3M were working on developing different types of adhesive. Adhesives are like glues, glue, tape, anything that bonds, holds things together. In English, we say adhere. To adhere to something is to stick to it. Adhere to the rules, stick to the rules, follow the rules, don't go against the rules. One particularly weak adhesive was developed. There is the key. Particularly weak, number 3A, not particularly strong. Of the many adhesives, of the many different types of adhesives, different types of bonds. 3A, actually look after the first sentence there. Employees at 3M were asked if they could think of a use for a weak adhesive which, provided it could not get dirty, could be reused. Provided means as long as. It's a little more formal style, a little bit more academic. Provided it did not get dirty, as long as it did not get dirty. Another use was found. One more use was found, discovered, accidentally, okay, unexpectedly. When the product was attached to a report that was to be sent to a colleague with a request for comments on the report. So they put the Post-it note on the paper and said, what do you think of this weak adhesive? You know, please tell me, what do you think? And just an example. And the other person looked at it and then said, well, I think blah, blah, blah. And they wrote their ideas on that paper. And then the first person went, wait a minute, that's how we can use this adhesive. We can make paper with weak tape on it, very weak tape, so you can easily put it on and off. Accidentally, it was invented. That's called an accidental invention. Number 4B, unexpectedly discovered use was in sending and receiving notes attached to documents. That's how we got the idea of the Post-it note. Number 2, paragraph 2, it was decided within the company that there would be a test launch. Okay, a test, a sort of a practice launch. Launch is when you begin something. So instead of having the product all over the world or all over the country, they chose 4 cities. Let's launch, like a rocket, beginning its trip. Let's launch this product in 4 cities to test, to see how it does. Sales of this innovative product. Innovative, new. Okay, to innovate, innovation, innovate, innovative, all N-O-V means new, like novel. A novel idea, a new idea. A novelty, something new and interesting. A novice, somebody who's new at something. I'm a novice badminton player. I'm new, it's my first time. Less than stellar, not very good. Stellar means star. S-T-E-L-L-A. Stella means star. Stella Artois. Have you seen that beer? Stella Artois. Stella means star. So less than stellar means not a star, not very good. Okay? Most likely because the product, while innovative, new, was also quite unfamiliar. People didn't understand it. Number 5 is C. The new product, innovative, novel, novelty, N-O-V, innovative, new product, did not sell well. Sales were not good. Less than stellar, not a star. Stellar means like star, very good. Less than stellar, not so good. Because potential customers did not understand it. Unfamiliar. Unfamiliar, you don't know it well, you don't understand it well. Last one, over time, after some time, after years, 3M came to understand the huge potential, in other words, very valuable, very useful, of this new product. And over the next few decades, more than 400 varieties of Post-it products have been developed. Number 6D, it took some time. There's the key. Over time, after some time, take some time. It took some time to understand the huge potential or how important the product was and how many variations, how many varieties were possible. It took some time. They go, okay, this is a pretty good product. Let's develop it. Yeah. Okay, yeah, slowly. And now look, Post-it notes are everywhere. You find them all over the place. They're really useful, and you use them for many different things. Accidental invention. We're going to learn some more accidental inventions, over the next couple of weeks. We're going to see some really interesting accidental inventions in our readings, and I'm going to teach you a few fun stories in the past of things that were accidentally invented, like the Post-it note. Homework, Pulitzer Prize. Pulitzer Prize is like the Academy Award for writers in the US. Academy Awards are for movies, Pulitzer Prize is for writing. Competition and cooperation, passage 4. Very interesting, I love this one. So do those, and that's it. That's all your reading homework. Okay, passage 3, Pulitzer Prize. Passage 4, competition and cooperation. Stop after page 34. The next skill on page 35, we'll do that together next week. I'll introduce it next week. You don't have to do it this week. Very good. Questions? Please ask. Page 129, listening. All right, we've been listening for the gist, the main idea. The gist usually comes out at the beginning. So always, no matter what, every listening passage, listen very carefully at the beginning. There is almost always a question that comes from the beginning of the passage. And usually that, not always, but usually that's a gist, a main idea question. Lakes, okay, lakes. I guess we should go to the back. The recording script that goes with this is on, where are we here? Page 582, passage 3, page 129, and the recording script is on page 582. All right, they're talking about lakes. Let's see where we are in this project for geography class. Our presentation's in 2 days, and I hope we're almost ready. We were each going to look up information about a different lake with an emphasis on how each lake was formed. So why are they there? Why are the 3 students there? Are they in a classroom? No. Looks like a library, study room, something working together. They're talking about lakes. Okay, that's a big topic. But what is their purpose? A presentation. They're preparing a presentation. Number 6 is C. And what is that presentation? It's about lakes and about how lakes were formed. A. Number 5A, number 6C. Now, that's it for the answers. But while you listen each time, I want you to practice your general listening. Okay? You listen at the beginning. What are the main points? The students have a presentation, okay, presentation about big lakes, okay, 3 students, 3 lakes, how they were formed. Now you follow the students, right? Student 1 is talking about Caspian Sea, okay? Take notes, Caspian Sea, point, 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 point. Next student, okay, Lake Superior in North America. Lake Superior, point, point, point. And the last one, Lake Baikal in Siberia, in Russia. Deepest lake, holds more water than all of the Great Lakes put together. Wow. Point, 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 done. Okay? And then listen at the end for how they conclude the talk. What I'm trying to say is, even though in this exercise, you're only listening for gist, you're listening for main idea, main point. And that comes at the beginning. But I want you to practice listening for everything, because that's how you will improve your listening and your note-taking. So follow the speakers, write down the main point, organize your notes. Okay, 3 lakes, 1, 2, 3, point, point, point. Now you have fantastic notes, and you can answer not just gist, but all the other questions that would come from a regular listening passage. Use this for listening and note-taking practice, please. Discussion, meteorology. What is meteorology? Study of meteors? Meteorology is the study of weather. A meteorologist is like a weatherman. Okay, what's going on here? The professor says, today, instead of lecturing, I'm going to start out by taking questions. You all know that the exam's tomorrow, so today I'd like to spend time talking about whatever's unclear, whatever you don't understand well, unclear. Yes, Anne, what is your question? Okay, what is Anne's question? She's talking about two theories by Redfield and Espy. Two theories, two different meteorologists, and they have different theories. The theories are not the same. The theories disagree. Now, number 7, what does they talk about then? A, two different or contrasting theories about storms. Okay, that's the key, contrasting, different. They don't agree. Number 7D, like theories means alike, similar, or the same. No, the point here is they contrast, different. A. And number 8D, brought up. Why are we talking about it? Because the student asked a question. To ask is to bring up. I'd like to bring up a question, or I'd like to bring up a point. Doesn't have to be a question. You can bring up a point. But here it was brought up. It was asked by a student. Okay, and again, as you listen, I'm not going to go over the whole passage, but you should practice. Okay, what do? You go, okay, what's the point here? These two different theories. Why are we discussing it? Student asked a question. What are the theories? Redfield, Espy, because on a real test, you'll have questions about the points of Redfield's theory and of Espy's theory. Very good. Let's move on. Listening skill 2. Understand the details. Okay, skill 1 was the gist, the forest. You must notice the forest first. Which forest is it? What is this forest all about? Gist. Now in that forest, of course, you have many individual trees. The details are the trees in the forest. Gist, details. Astronomy is studying the heavens, the skies, astro, right? So astronomy, anything from planets, stars, sun, moon, comets. Comet, Halley's Comet. Let's listen. Go ahead and listen and answer number 1 and number 2. Number 1, what is stated in the lecture? What are the details? Okay, well, Halley's Comet passes by our planet every 72 years. Passes by, comes by every 76 years. Okay, therefore B, it comes by. Synonyms, passes by, comes by. How often? Every 76 years. Once every 76 years. Number 1B. Number 1D, no. It didn't, the Halley's Comet didn't give its name to Edmund Halley. Edmund Halley gave his name to the comet. See, number 1D is opposite. Right? The man wasn't named after the comet was named after the man. Number 2, what about Edmund Halley? Well, he's an astronomer. He correctly predicted its return in 1758. B and C. Correct is accurate. Synonym, 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 always. And he was an astronomer. C, very simple. Number 2, B and C. Page 132, read this box, please, when you have time. Okay, notice the key words to recognize the questions. What is stated? What is indicated? According to, what does the lecturer say? Recognizing the question right away is a very important TOEFL skill. When you see these questions, you know it's a detailed question. Let's try one. We're going to try 2, actually. The first one is consultation, a parking sticker. Okay, what is a parking sticker? Is that like when you park illegally and the policeman writes a, no, that's not a parking sticker. That's a parking ticket. Illegal parking ticket, you must pay a fine. Parking sticker is literally a sticker you put on your car so that you can park. So for example, at Home Day, staff and professors can park in the parking lot underneath our dome, but they must get a sticker so that the guard, the kyungbi ajashi, can see, oh yes, parking is legal. So not in some universities, there's a lot of parking lots, and they'll have special lots for professors and staff, and they'll have other parking lots for students where students can park. So the students must get a parking sticker so they can legally park on campus. Go ahead, listen and answer number 1 through 6. Okay, follow along, okay? It's just follow these two. It's not a lecture. It's a student, woman, and university staff member, man. And they're in a university office, and the woman is, she's a student wanting a parking sticker. If that's you and you're there trying to get a parking sticker for your car, just imagine, you're going to ask questions. The man's going to answer them. The man's going to ask you questions. You're going to answer them. Back and forth. Those are the points. Okay? Question, answer. Follow along, write down the answers, write down the key points. Okay, the man says, have you ever purchased a parking sticker before? No, I haven't. This is my first one. Number 1C, first parking sticker. Okay, how are you going to pay? Cash, check, credit card, debit card? With a check. A check is, now we don't use checks so much, it's more like a debit card, but anyway, B. A debit card, today a debit card sort of replaces a check. But anyway, follow what you hear, B, a check. Number 3, do I have to bring my car over here so that you can put the sticker on it? No, you do not, okay? You have to fill out this form, complete the form, show me your ID, show identification, and you must pay. Here's the check. A, yes, B, yes, C, yes, D, no. Number 3, D. Now, number 4, this is interesting. Where do I put the sticker? On the front window of the car on the right-hand side. Wait a minute. No, not the right-hand side. Sorry, the left-hand side. And the student says, okay, front window, left side? Yes. Front window, left side. Number 4, A and D. Front window, left side, A and D. What did the man say? He said the right side, and he said, oh no, wait a minute, sorry, left side. He kind of made a mistake. Do you ever make mistakes like that? Of course you do. Maybe every day. We all do. Okay, I'll see you at 4 o'clock at the coffee shop. 5 o'clock. I meant 5. I'll see you at 5 o'clock at the coffee shop. Right, okay. You probably do that all the time. That's normal life. It's just an accident. But not here. Not on this test. That's not an accident. Remember, this man and woman, that's not them. That's just a picture of a man and a woman. What you hear is 2 people in a recording studio reading a script. Every word that you hear is in a script. It's planned, it's prepared. It sounds natural, but it's not. When you hear a mistake, remember that's not an accident. That's a script. That was a planned mistake. So a little alarm should go off because almost always there's a question from that. Okay, it tells you, mistake, on purpose, mistake, not accident. Prepare for a question, like number 4, A and D. Number 5, the parking areas are marked with different colors, marked, separated, blue, yellow, white, red, whatever, separated by color, or B, distinguished, marked, separated, made special by the color. And number 6, B and C, faculty and staff use blue and students use yellow. Faculty means the teachers, the professors, and staff means the workers, like this man. Students, of course, like the woman. Very good. Now, I encourage you to listen again all the way through. Just listen and check your notes, check the new words that you learned, check your answers. Listening again after I review it with you is really important and really helpful. Let's do one more. Passage 2, discussion, a drama class. Students are, again, it looks like the students here are in a study room or a library. They're not in a classroom situation. That's important. So what are the 3 students discussing? Drama, a drama class. Go ahead. Okay, at the beginning, you've got to listen really carefully at the beginning. Why? Because there's always a key point. We need to get going. We need to get working on our class project for drama class. We have to present a scene from our town. That's the name of the play. In costume, clothing, and with props. Props means properties or things that are owned by the company, the theater company, or properties means they own them. So basically, props are everything on the stage that's not a person, not an actor or actress. When you watch a play, you see people and you see props. Okay, whether it's a chair, a desk, a bed, a clock, whatever, those are called props. In 3 weeks, okay, so what are they, right away as you're listening, okay, drama class, presentation, our town, in costume with props, in 3 weeks. Number 7, C, in a few weeks. Not 3 days, not 3 months. If you take good notes and you write down in 3 weeks, that's a key point, and there's number 7, C. All right, so 3 students, 3 roles. What are the 3 roles? Let's see. We've decided on a scene and on who's going to play what. Bill, you're the stage manager. Tina, you're Emily, and I'm George. Stage manager, Emily, George. 8, A yes, B yes, C no, D yes. Yes, yes, no, yes. The question is negative. Who is not a character? C. Thornton Wilder. Actually, who's that? That's the name of the writer. Thornton Wilder was a famous American playwright who wrote this play, Our Town. Next, number 9, how familiar are they with the lines? I've started working on my lines. I've read them. I'm practicing, preparing. Woman says, I'm familiar with mine. I've read them. I'm getting to know them. And so let's read through the scene together. They have all started learning their lines, but they have not memorized them yet. Okay? So, number 9, A, no. C, no. D, no. Only B. They have read over their lines. Read over means you've read them at least once. You're learning them, you're becoming familiar with them, but you haven't yet memorized them. So let's read over them again together. Practice together the lines. Number 9, B. Number 10, what is the scene? It takes place before George and Emily's wedding. Okay, so therefore A, it's before a wedding. Whose wedding? C, George and Emily. They are getting married. They will get married. This is before that wedding. Number 10, A and C. And always listen carefully at the end. Sometimes there's an answer from the end, like here. Why don't we discuss what we're going to do about costumes and props first, and then we can run through the scene together. Run through the scene together. Run through it, practice it together. What are they going to do now? Next, are they going to run through the scene? No. They're going to discuss costumes and props. Number 11, B and D. Okay, again, I urge you to listen again now. Follow along, listen, look at your notes, practice taking notes, practice noticing what to listen for, and recognizing the questions and the answers. The more you put into this, the more you will improve. Believe me, okay? Give it time, give it practice, give it your energy. You'll find the improvement is faster and higher and better. Great work this week, everyone. So for homework, I sent you the listening, the links for the listening passages, passage 3 and passage 4, page 135 and 136, and then stop. Page 137 we'll discuss in class in the lecture video next week. Okay, that's it, everyone. Get your work done as soon as you can. Get back to me. Send me an email by Thursday at 5 o'clock, as always. And as always, please ask if you have any questions, okay? I look forward to hearing from all of you. Thanks for joining me today. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye for now.